obviously technical stuff is not my, can't even think of the word, forte. But welcome to the inaugural podcast of Two Beards, One Idea.
Name to be confirmed.
Yeah, to be confirmed.
Please.
Actual results may vary. In which myself, Dom, and my friend Shannon talk about novels we're writing, novels we're reading, and dumb ideas we have about other people's novels.
So many
dumb ideas. Right now, I have spent a lot of time recently editing the novel we wrote together, and I don't hate it as much as you, is about the only thing I can say of it that's positive.
Okay, before you progress, can I just clarify, when you say I don't hate it as much as you?
Yeah.
Now, that you don't hate it as much as I hate it?
Yeah.
Or you don't hate it as much as you hate me as a person?
Oh, it's somewhere in between those two values.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's good.
No, I quite like you, but you have told me on numerous occasions how much you dislike editing, and I don't dislike it that much, but I can see why it grates. I feel like I don't know, I'm probably about a third of the way through. My goal when I started was to get us up to 100,000 words, which is 20,000 words. I've realised we're not going to get there. I'm sorry. I don't know where I'm going to find another 20,000 words.
Well, I don't think adding words for the sake of adding words is necessarily the best.
What? Charles Dickens did it, and look how famous he is.
He loves a word.
He does love a word. That adage of like, don't use two words when you can use one. Well, Chuck, he showed us that you don't have. That is not true.
Just throw in random words. Yeah. You don't even need words that make sense to that sentence. Put the word soup in about 80 times throughout the book. See if the reader picks it up. Yeah.
So yeah,
no, don't do that.
Actually, editing our novel, I have taken the word soup out a number of times. I think you overused it.
I don't think I did. I think I used an appropriate amount of soup.
Oh, can we call the podcast that?
An appropriate amount of soup.
An appropriate amount of soup.
Because if we get past 3 episodes, that joke is not going to make any sense. So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to an appropriate amount of soup. So no, I do hate editing. And for a couple of reasons. And the first being, I don't know if this is a standard thing that anyone who's had any sort of creative endeavor feels, or just myself. But anytime I do any piece of work and I look back on it, I hate it. Doesn't matter how good that piece of work is. It could be Shakespeare. If I did it, I hate it. And then the editing process is just reflecting my work, and in this one, your work as well, just back on me. And it's just, yeah, cool. I'm bad at this for like nights on end, just trying to sort this thing out.
What I've actually found, and it's probably a reflection on my terrible memory, is while I'm editing, I have no idea who wrote this section. I genuinely am like, I think that was my idea. And then my question is, did I actually write this? Did we just talk about it and you wrote it? Or did you edit it beyond recognition? And I have no question, I have no answers. So it's actually all fresh to me. I remember how the story ended, but because there was such a long gap between chapters, 11 and actually finishing 14 or whatever the last chapter was, I genuinely don't know how we got there. And so it's like reading it for the first time for me.
Yeah, I think from a royalties perspective, I did actually write the entire thing by myself.
I think we discuss not that long ago that
no, not familiar.
Your forte is doing the work and not collaborating, and my forte is taking credit for other people. So if you're going to turn that back on me, I don't see how this relationship is going to work.
Poorly, like most relationships. Hey, okay.
Do you want to talk about that?
Not mine. More? No, I have great relationships. I just mean the ones in general.
Yeah.
So you're enjoying editing?
I don't know. Yeah, actually, I'm. Most of what I'm doing is. So when I write, I find my problem is I have a good idea and another good idea, and I have to join them together, which I do in the briefest way possible. It's like, great idea, in this side of town. Great idea in this side of town. He walked from one side of town to the other. Like I am poor at that kind of exposition. And so I've actually really enjoyed going, you can put stuff into a story that adds character to the city they're in, or tells you a little bit about the characters without actually, moving the narrative along in that sentence, if that makes sense. So I've done a lot more to do with the themes and the atmosphere, which I have actually quite enjoyed that.
So it's like we initially got the steak and chips together, and you've just been working on the seasoning.
Which is ironically what I'm all about. I'm all about condiments, and right now I am condimenting the crap out of our story.
Do you want to give a little bit of where are you at in the story? Just give a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of a taster.
I'm in the bit,
What's happening?
and I'm pretty sure this is your bit, where it flashes back to... I don't know, can we spoil it? Like, maybe someone's going to read our book one day. Anyway.
No one's ever going to read our book. No, everyone is, but just don't spoil it. Just give a little bit of a teaser of what the book's about, what's going on, what's the hip-hop happenings.
So the book is... The main narrative from the beginning is, it's about a detective called Henry, who was once famous for being a great detective, and his whole career was ended because he was given the case of Mary Schillinger, which he was unable to solve, and she was the belle of the city, the darling of the gentry, and he was unable to solve her murder. And the story is a slow unraveling of both his sanity and the case. And the bit I'm reading is the flashback to how Mary actually did die. That, if anything, just makes it a lot weirder when you actually find out. Like, I'm reading it and I know where the story goes, and I'm like, this is wild. Like, well done.
Yeah, and I guess we know this, but anyone who's listening to this doesn't. So the way that we wrote this book was taking it a chapter at a time. You would write a part, I would write a part. And there was no set structure before we got there. So
there was no set
really
idea when we got started.
Well, actually, I'm going to correct you on that one, because I think there was an idea. However, I think there were two ideas. I think that you had one and I had one, and we didn't discuss those ideas with each other. So the story, it's very much like... not to make our book sound bad before anyone gets a chance to read it, but the Star Wars sequels, that there was a director for episode 7, there's a director for episode 8, and there's a director for episode 9, and you can feel the tension, the push and pull between, I want to tell this story, and the other person says, I want to tell this story.
Yep.
And the whole thing falls apart, except for the fact that with our story is, after we did that, we've gone back and edited it, so it actually makes a cohesive story.
I like to think that most of it was what I like to call vindictive creativity, where we did our absolute best to write each other into a corner. But then eventually, I believe it was you said to me, someone's got to land this plane, and it's going to be you, so good luck, which is why it took me 3.5 years to actually finish the book.
Yeah, and then we didn't talk for 3 years, so that was good. Yeah.
That was passive creativity. I don't know, isolationist creativity. We've tried them all, people. Method acting, creationist creativity. I don't even know anymore. But
you okay, Matt?
We did get it finished, and I've got to say, I'm proud of what we made. If it makes us into gazillionaires, that'd be great. But honestly, I'll just be happy to read the book after I've finished editing it. Yeah, I probably won't want to read it after I've finished editing.
All right. So how close to the end of editing are you now? Are we getting this thing out this year?
Quite possibly. Yeah, my goal was to finish editing by the end of February. I think I might do it. I got through it. I was substitute teaching 7th grade today, and
I'm sorry to hear
no,
that.
it was great because the teacher I was substituting for left incredible notes and had the work all set up. So basically, each class I went, do this, and then edit it, which
Okay.
maybe isn't the most responsible thing, and hopefully my employer won't hear about it, but I did get quite a lot done.
We'll cut that
We'll
part
cut
out
that out,
in
yeah.
post. Yeah. Okay. So we're getting there. We're looking late Feb for finalized editing, and then
Yeah.
hey, if you're a publisher or if you're a agent listening to this right now, give us a call.
Yep. Give us
We here's Dom's phone number. It is
555-55-5555.
We and we should have probably set up an email for this before we started recording. So this is why we're doing a pilot episode and trying to work out these details. We'll need to get an email, Dom.
Yeah, well, what are we going to call our podcast? What did we come up with?
We also need a name for the podcast.
A sufficiency of soup? Was that it? Something like that.
Yeah, it's going to keep... Well, we'll see what it is by the end of this recording.
2 beards.
Something about soup.
2 beards, 1 idea.
2 beards.
A sufficient amount of soup. A sufficient amount of beard soup. Beard soup.
Beard soup.
Yep, done. All right, moving on.
Cool.
Dick.
Welcome to Beard Soup.
Email us at beardsoup@gmail.com.
I don't know if... No, I'm not going there. Let's move on.
Move on, 'cause we're grown up.
Hey, one thing that I have done,
Mm.
without knowing the name for this podcast, and I think now's a good time to do this, is I have come up with a theme song.
Amazing.
I spent literally minutes on this, and I think it's going to be amazing. And
We have a jingle?
We have a jingle.
This is amazing. This is everything I've dreamed of.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to just send this through to you now, my
Just
friend
play
Dom.
it. Just play it. Let me...
Well,
What do we call it?
no, see, the way that I'm recording doesn't actually
really?
doesn't work that way.
We can't do a reaction video?
Well, I mean, I could play it live through the speaker, and that's going to sound bad. This is hey, just a little bit of behind the scenes magic for anyone. If I don't cut this part out, hey Dom, remember before we actually started recording, I said there was going to be something I was going to send you,
Yeah.
and I'm going to put it in post. Yeah, cool. This is that.
This is this. Okay, send it to me.
All right, here we go.
Show about books and sing about books. Everyone's looking at the books, reading the books with the eyeball books. Everything's books and they're eating the books. And then reading the books. Reading.
My favourite bit is when it sounds like you cough up a fur ball about 3/4 of the way through.
I did cough.
But I think that really sums up who we are. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
I spent upwards of at least 10 minutes putting that together. So,
Well, that's more time than I spent preparing for this podcast. So, well done,
hey,
you.
thank you. We'll do a proper one later.
I quite
No,
like that.
good.
Maybe slightly higher production values.
No. I
everything
think
else
I think you're
No.
right. I think it's good enough.
Especially with the fur ball.
Yeah. Look, I had to cough. All right. So moving on to our second segment. So part of this, our plan is we're going to take a novella, ultra novel, I think is what they're called if they're like 200,000 words or more. But Dom and I are very busy people. We don't have the time to read a full novel, so we're just going to read the first chapter. We'll give a little bit of a synopsis of what we've read, what's been going on, and then we're just going to guess it from there. We'll just improvise the rest of the book, let you, our beautiful, fantastic listeners, know what is going on, and through the process of that retelling or reimagining of an existing story, we're just going to sabotage each other, which is our process when creating a new work.
Vindictive creativity.
And what I want to do with this is to try and look at some indie authors, some small time people, get the word out of some cool novels that are going around at the moment. But this is our pilot, and we didn't have access to any of that. So we thought we'd do a small time, no one's ever heard of author by the name of Raymond Feist. And the series.
He's written a book or two.
Yeah. I think he's sold at least 30 copies.
Yeah.
So what's the book we're doing, Dom?
We're doing Magician, which holds a special place in my heart. I read it. It's interesting. I'll tell my brief story about Magician. I read The Belgariad by David Eddings when I was in, I think, year 8. And then shortly after read Magician and all the available sequels at the time. And then shortly after I read an essay by David Eddings, who had a degree in Greek mythology or something like that. And he went on and on about how you couldn't write high fantasy unless you understood the foundational building blocks of it, which he obviously did with his postgraduate degree in mythology. And then read Raymond Feist's response to this article, which was, I play D&D with my friends and we came up with some great stories, so I wrote them down. And I'm really very much of the Raymond Feist style of story writing. I don't think you really need to understand Greek mythology to write a cracking good novel.
Yeah, and here on this particular podcast, we do support Raymond Feist and not David Eddings. I don't know if you've read about the life of David Eddings. He's not a great person. But that's a wiki.
I don't. Do you know anything about Raymond Feist's personal life? I genuinely don't, but I'm sure he's a great guy.
He seems better than David Eddings.
He does.
Google it later, people.
I'm Googling
Oh,
it right
yeah?
now.
Don't.
David Eddings comes
Don't.
up. Oh.
Yeah, he's not pleasant.
Wow. 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 Okay. Yeah, wow. Yeah, guys, don't Google David
We would like to
Eddings.
formally disendorse David Eddings and his wife.
Yeah, we separate ourselves from.
Oh, great of you to bring up that name on our first podcast. Thanks, Dom.
Yeah, wow. I genuinely had no idea. I just thought he was a bit of a knob.
Belgariad's good though. I liked it as a kid.
Well, okay. I think it brings us to an important theme that comes up in so many fantasy novels, which Magician sets us up for, which is poor farm boy saves the world. Of course, Raymond Feist took a twist on this and made it poor castle orphan. Well, does he save the world, Shannon? I don't know. We've only read the first chapter.
All right. So for those of you that have not read the first chapter, let's look at this. So let's look at the first sentence before anything else as we deconstruct this. The first sentence, the storm had broken. Now, I raise that for two reasons. One, I've actually stolen this technique. It's specifically from Raymond Feist. I don't know if I do it in our story. I've definitely done it in some of my ones that I've worked on myself. It's that having the first sentence of a chapter be an action. So the man did X. The thing did something. So it's a really short, stabby way, gets someone's attention, gets the person hooked onto what you're about to read. But the second reason I bring this up is because it doesn't work in this context, because the storm had broken can mean one of two things, Dom. If storm breaks, it means either the storm starts or it means the storm ends. So he didn't help.
Which does it mean?
It's one or the other.
I believe that context clues shortly after that first sentence answer that question.
I don't have time for that. I need to know based on that one sentence. I think in this case the storm has stopped.
I thought we were doing one chapter, not one sentence.
I'm breaking it down sentence
by
by
sentence. It's going to be a really fun
We're going to be here for a week.
We're going to work our way through Dickens doing the first sentence.
All right, so
it was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Shut up, Dom. All right, so there's a guy named Pug. He's collecting crabs, and then he's collecting sand somethings. I don't know if they're real animals or if they're fantasy animals, whatever. He's collecting them up. He's going to give them to Mega the cook.
His adoptive mother? Or
yeah,
father?
one of those.
Is Mega the
We
mum
don't
or
know
the
that.
dad?
It's chapter one, baby.
Oops.
Hey, spoilers. Yeah. So Pug starts lollygagging about. He goes to sleep in the sun, so therefore I think the storm stopped. But we don't know that for sure. The storm could be going and the sun could be going simultaneously. He wakes up, and now we know that there is a secondary storm rolling through. Pug tries to escape from this storm. He slips on some rocks. He rolls his ankle. Oh no, poor little puggy. The waves roll in. He loses his crabs. And I think that's going to be a significant plot point later on in the story.
Later
the
on,
loss
when
of
the crabs
crabs.
come back.
We don't know for sure. So the chapter establishes Pug as an adventurous child. He considers climbing up the cliff face wall to try and escape from the waves and the storm rolling through. He's also considering how some of the adults in his life are going to respond to this little scenario that he's in. So Swordmaster Shannon and Horsemaster Algan are introduced, and it is a fantasy book, so I apologize for the way that I'm pronouncing these names. I've only read them, I haven't heard them. So someone, if you want to write a comment saying, no, you're saying all these names wrong, and then you can...
Well, they're made up anyway, so say them how you like. I always thought his name was Poog, but hey.
So look, he tries to run away from the beach. Afterwards, he's trying to get back to the city. He's a little orphan boy that lives in the keep. He's scared of this big storm coming through. He thinks there's going to be roving bandits on the road that are going to stop him. But then he goes into the forest and there's a pig. And I've just wrote in all capital letters on my notes here, pig fight, ! Then a forest man appears. He kills
Martin
He
Longbow.
kills the pig with a bow and arrow. He field dresses the pig really, really quickly. We later find out that this man is named Meacham.
Oh, it's Meacham. It's
Not Mr. Longbow. He's in a later book.
Mr. Longbow.
Don't you start? This is the problem. You've got too much knowledge of later works, but we'll ignore those for now. I'll move past it for you. So Meacham and Pug go into the Magic Man's home in the forest. This is a man by the name of Culgan.
Culgan.
Are you a
Culgan,
Culganer?
I think you'll find.
Are you a Culganer?
I'm 100%
I'm going to say
Culgan.
Culgan just to annoy you.
Yeah, I know.
Then in that part of the glade, the storm becomes mild, but we find out that that's because it's a magic protection over that area of the forest, which is stopping the storm from coming through. We find out that Culgan has Fantas the Fire Drake.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and he's apparently awe-inspiring to a child, but everyone else plays it off like that's super fine. Just
Totally
dragon
normal.
there, man. Move on.
Well, tell us what a fire drake is.
A drake's like a mini dragon.
Mm.
Do I need more detail than that?
No, that'll do. Move
Cool.
on.
I've
Yep.
written here magic orb. That's self-explanatory.
Yep.
They use the magic orb to scry. They see a character by the name of Fat Elfin, which I believe has no relation to the character Fat Albert. Pug can read. He knows his numbers. We discover that. That's pretty impressive for a little orphan boy. Culgan gives a massive lore dump, which is disguised as a little bit of history that he's giving to Pug and a bit of a lesson, so that's nice. I've got here that Culgan keeps staring at a 13-year-old boy, and then we just move on from that. The time of choosing is close.
Hey, it's not a David Eddings novel.
Okay, good. There's a lot of staring going on in chapter 1. I don't know why.
Oh, this is terrible. Yep.
We discover that Pug is an orphan, which is mandatory because it is a fantasy book. And then the chapter ends with Pug cuddling a dragon. So that's what we've got so far.
So who have we met? We've met Pug. We've met Meacham. And Culgan. Culgan. Does it mention where they live?
That they're in a little hut in the forest.
Okay, so it doesn't mention the name of the town from which.
Well,
Pug
no, I think it does. I can't. It's not in my notes, but how do you pronounce that?
I was just going to ask you the same question. A Crydee
Crydee?
is how I've I don't know if I've ever said it out loud until
How does
this
it feel
moment,
saying it
though,
out
but
loud?
in my head, it's a little weird, but I don't know how else I'd say it.
Creed
How would you say it? No, because it's got
does
two
have two
E's.
A's. Creed would be wrong, but that you could
Yeah.
say it that way.
Creed.
Creed. It's
Yeah. This is the Swedish version of magician.
yeah. So I mean, obviously, it all depends on how Nordic you want to go. Let's say Creedy. I think it is Creedy.
Righty.
Okay. So, we're going to develop this a little bit further. So a couple of rules to how we're going to do this, and I think since I've read out the synopsis, you're going to start.
Okay.
You're getting.
Rule number 1.
I-
Characters have been introduced. We have the setting, major events, some foreshadowing. The crabs. We work together to construct a story based on this synopsis, the first charity. Mandatory hilarity ensues.
Mandatory.
That's in the notes. Okay, rules for discussion. 2 plot points, then hand over. Everything must escalate. Plot points start small, but stakes must increase with each passing of the torch. Each host is allowed 1 intentional sabotage of the story per episode. This reduces the stakes back down to zeros. Okay.
Which is how we wrote our book together, just for anyone listening.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And what I love about the escalation thing is this is Raymond Feist. He wrote this incredible trilogy in which, spoiler alert, Pug goes and becomes very powerful. And then he decided he wanted to write more books and went, oh wow, he killed the bad guy. Like, he kills the villain at the end, who's super powerful.
Cross.
But then it turns out that's not the villain. There was someone behind that villain. So then he writes another series where they hunt down that villain
Cross again.
and also dispatch them. I think there's like 5 series of increasing. And I think in the second to last series, like, they destroy like Death. Basically.
Well, Death's had a good run up to this point.
Yeah, but then there's another series after that. I did stop
Double
reading
Death.
at that point when I'm like, Double Death, the death of death, the life of death. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's all a bit odd. But I really think for me the first 3 or 4 series by Feist are utter gold. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about not magician. This is magician. Sounds similar, different book. So, Pug wakes up in the hut, in the forest, and has to go somewhere. He's not able to stay because Kulgan says, I'm sorry, your time here is done. You must return to town. But he sends Meacham with him as a guide. But along the way, hey, how about this? Pig Fight, the sequel. But this time, the pig bests Meacham, and Pug is forced to scramble through the forest on his own, getting more and more lost until he encounters Tag. It's you.
All right. So one of the things that I do want to raise is that we haven't met the titular character yet. So,
The magician.
Magic Ian.
Magic Ian. Love
Ian has to come in at some point. So I think this might be where we see that. So what have we got? Pugs facing a pig alone, and Magic Ian wanders through the glade. There's a mist of pig blood and pig entrail.
Viscera.
Just mists the pig into oblivion and tells Pug, come with me. I am Magic Ian. They return to the town of Creed, back to the Nordic town.
Creed.
Creed,
Yep.
where they meet the horse master, whose name I wrote down and forgot. Hey, they meet the horse master
Fanon.
which then Magic Ian turns his horses into mist as well. But why does...
I was going to suggest that the mysterious thing about Horsemaster Fanon is that he's a horse. He's just the
It wasn't
top
your
horse.
turn, though, so you've kind of...
Yeah, I know. So you missed out on that. You
No.
missed it instead.
Instead, we have Ian turning everything into mist. Over to you, my friend Dom.
So the town, the reason it initially, like, that chapter ends, chapter 2, seems pretty horrible. Seems like maybe Magic Ian is not the
He's not
person we're
great.
looking
No,
for.
he's not a good guy.
He's not great. But then it is revealed as the princess of the castle, who we shall call Beatrice, emerges from the dungeons, and Horsemaster Fanon was trying to stage a coup. Was trying to take over the castle and put himself in charge because the king of the castle, Ronnie, died. And Fanon was, that classic, you're absolutely classic Grand Vizier kind of position, trying to take everything over. But it's okay because Magic Ian has turned up and saved the day. And now Princess Beatrice, who is now Queen Beatrice, is back in charge.
Just to clarify, so
Yep.
Magic Ian has saved the day by turning the Horsemaster's horses into a blood mist. Has he done anything else?
Oh, I thought he turned the Horsemaster into a blood mist as well.
All right, no, he can have done that. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's a angry young man. All right, so
Well, is he young? You haven't mentioned. I had pictured Magic Ian as being quite
all
old.
right, I feel like Pug's not really involved now.
Well, he's not. The book's not called Pug.
It's called Magic Ian.
It's called Magic Ian. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're up to what, chapter 4?
Chapter 4. And look, in our defense, Pug's a pretty dumb name. I'm gonna say it. And I think that was part of the beauty of Feist's original work, which obviously we're improving upon, is that the two main characters are Pug and Tom. And they're not great names. But then they turn out to be great guys.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because chapter 4 is called Return of Pug. So Pug's actually been out. He's just like following Magic Ian around. He's not been doing a whole lot. And then Magic Ian says, "Hey, Mr. Pug, do you want to learn how to mist people?"
It's kind of what I do.
It's kind of Magic Ian's thing. And Pug says no. Because the one thing about Pug is
Plot
he
twist.
is a person of character, and he does not believe in violence. And so this chapter, it's really sort of dialogue heavy. It's really character involved, and it's around Magic Ian and Pug just having a conversation about these two outlooks. Magic Ian, I want to get things done. I'm saving the kingdom, and I will use whatever means to get there. And Pug's just this little orphan boy, and he's, well, do the ends justify the means? And do they? We'll never know for sure, because guess what happens to Pug?
Oh no. Missed it.
Over to you, Dom.
So as Pug gets misted, the question he asks Magic Ian is, who hurt you? So chapter 5 is actually all flashbacks. It's about how Magic Ian became the man he is today. And he was not a poor farm boy. He was in fact a demigod. And he knew it from birth. His dad was Ronald, the god of weaving, and his mother was some chick he met down at the pub.
Before
one
you
night.
continue, Dom, can I just ask, when you say weaving, is that like as in textiles, or is that in like dodging?
A bit of both.
Carry on.
Yeah. He always said you can dodge a loom, but can you dodge a mist? And he led this life, and he was destined for greatness to hang out on in the suburbs of Olympus, where all the other demigods, and occasionally come down to the mortal plane and do stuff. But his older brother, Keith, Sorceress Keith, was bit of a tool, and used to beat him up and like hold him face down in a barrel of, barrel of water, bobbing for golden apples. Didn't like it, and so one day he leaves, and he goes away, and he's carrying all this pain, and he gets to the mortal plane, and he sees a bully. So what does he do? Mists him.
Mist.
End of chapter.
It loves a good mist.
It does. He's so good at it.
So the king has been defeated by the horsemaster. The horsemaster has been misted. The orphan boy has been misted. A number of horses have been misted.
Much misting. Yeah.
So now we find ourselves with the tortured Ian. Sort of not on the throne. Queen Beatrice is on the throne, but Ian is in a Jafar type situation for those that have seen Aladdin.
Uh-huh.
And controlling things. He is the power behind the throne. However, we also have a sack of crabs that haven't been
We have to pull back in.
accounted for. And that's when we actually get the main character of the story, who's strangely not introduced until chapter 6. It's a boy named Tom, which is spelled Thom, but it's pronounced Tom because Thomas, the correct way to spell Thomas, has an H in it.
Yeah.
You can argue that all you want, but that's the correct way. And Tom is out. He's just having a swim. He's cavorting in the water, and he comes upon.
Can I just stop you there? Can you explain what cavorting in the water looks like? Because I've always thought of cavorting as a more terrestrial thing. One cavorts on land, one frolics in the water. But you're switching it up, and I need this explained.
Yeah. So all right. So imagine frolicking in the water, but it's cavorting.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds like a drowning hazard.
Oh, it definitely is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay. So
no,
risky.
it's-
So we know instantly, Tom, risk taker.
Yeah. That's the thing about cavorting. It's not a safe practice, but it is an enjoyable practice. And it does lead to crabs in a sack.
Crabs. Like many enjoyable but dangerous activities, it leads to crabs in the sack.
Moving on. So Tom
Sorry.
finds his crabs in the sack. And as he's taking them out, he's going to take them to our now misted pug's adopted family. The cook, whose name names. What was the cook's name?
Meacham.
No, that's
No.
the hunter boy.
Meager.
Too many M's, man.
Yep.
Meager. A meager chef.
I think it's Meager.
Magar.
Omega.
That one. So Tom's going to take the crabs there, but as he's taking them out of the sack to inspect them, because one or two of them are rotten at this point, we're 5 chapters in, he finds the magic crab. Over to you, Dom.
Again, flashback. No, it's not. It's a real change of pace. The magic crab is... this chapter is from the magic crab's point of view. So the sack of crabs has been brought into town. And the intention is obviously for the peasantry of Cryde to feast upon these crabs. But there's a magic crab who is sentient, and he has his little eye stalks up, and they're looking around and they see everything. And what they see is a peasantry up in arms. Not about the constant shifting of the political power from the king to the horsemaster to the princess who's now the queen, who's backed up by Ian, but from the completely unfair workload of cleaning up mist. The whole castle has just been painted with, like, can you imagine how much mist one horse would make? This is not one horse. This is a number of horses and at least 2 humans that we know of. So they're spending a lot of time scrubbing the walls. It's creating this beautiful run of blood and this epic, almost poetic section just about the color of the blood and what it looks like as it trickles out through the drawbridge. And as it trickles out through the drawbridge, we see approaching a man in black. Over to you.
And do you want to know something, Dom? Plot
What?
twist. Do you know who that? Do you know who that man in black is? It's Pug. He's demisted.
He just clicked the
No.
on and everything was
Hey,
fine.
do you remember a little character we just introduced? Magic Crab,
Magic
the
Crab.
demister.
Oh,
And do you know who Magic Crab used to be? Plot twist number 2, all in one chapter. Boom. Keith the Crab. Do you remember who Keith?
the older
Do
brother.
you remember who Keith is?
Oh, this is amazing. I am boggled.
Or did you go silent because you were just like, what the hell is he talking about?
No, I was like, you said plot twist. I was expecting, honestly, a fart joke. What you came up with actually revolutionary.
Yeah.
Keith.
So, Magic Ian's twin brother has always been a crab. We discover this now, so that's not known in the earlier chapter.
So he used to hold him down with
his
claw.
little crabby claw. Yep.
Well, big crab.
And he'd
claw.
poke him in the eye with his
Yeah.
eye stalk. But bang, double eye poke. It's as unpleasant as it sounds.
An eye butt, I believe, is that move.
No, that's a no.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. That's what I know.
Yeah. It's just gonna leave that pause.
Is it
No,
over to
I
me
just want to
again?
leave that pause there.
Already?
I wanted
Okay.
to do the exact opposite of a yes and for
No, but
a no but for the sake of our work as entertainers. So yeah, Keith the Crab returns. He has demisted Pug for where Magic Ian has the gift of mist. Crab Keith has the gift of demist. He's like
Crab Keith, the
demister.
demister.
He is much like that Ford Falcon I owned in '96. Was a '96 Ford Falcon. I didn't have it in '96. I was a child. Moving on. So the crab and the child return to town, and over to you, Mr. Dom.
So what's really important about this story? The traditional fantasy novel is the hero's tale. This book's a bit different because the hero's tale's already happened to Crab Keith. Okay, so the memories of Crab Keith came only from Magic Ian, right? And he is an untrustworthy narrator.
Keith, the good guy.
Well, he wasn't a great guy when they
He
were
was a
kids.
good crab.
But whereas Ian festered upon this bullying and forgot to mention any of the other jerky things he did to other demigods, Keith the Crab, the demister, he discovered deep inside of himself that he was a bit of a dick and decided to do something about that. And so throughout the rest of this chapter, we just get snippets that show us the growth of Keith as he talks to Ian. So this is another dialogue heavy thing where Ian's like, oh man, Keith, here you are, you're ruining my fun again. And Keith's like, no. And I wanted to say sorry. And then Ian's like, oh, but what about the time you did this? And he's going, yes, it's true, I did that, and I'm sorry, but this is what I've done to make up for it. But, plot twist, no, I'm joking. It actually just goes exactly as you'd expect, and it comes out with a clear portrayal of the fact that instead of Ian being this like poor victim of abuse who is just living out a pattern of violence, he's actually made the choice to be an even bigger knob.
Yeah. The end.
Yeah, I think that is a beautiful story. I'm going to put that up there with The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho as a book that really goes nowhere and shows nothing, but that some people will have their lives changed by.
I thought we were about to have an argument there because I was about to make the crack. Oh, do you want to compare it to a good book? But okay. Any Alchemist fans out there?
Yes.
We stand by it.
We are not.
We stand by our comments.
I was recommended The Alchemist by a friend for whom it changed his life. And he goes, "Oh, just wait till the twist at the end, wait till the twist at the end." And I spent the whole book going, I wonder what the twist is, because clearly he ends up back where he began. Spoiler alert. That's the whole twist.
So good. No magic crabs. Not a single crab in that book.
Not a single magic crab, no magic hands, no one called Pug, or I believe there may be a Tom in it, but it's like a Tom, because it's an Italian book, so it's not Tom, it's a Thomas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we wrote something better. I think we should be very proud of it.
I hate everything we've done and who we are as people, which is, I think, the how you want to come out of the creative experience.
Well, because it's the pain of our self-discovery, of our complete lack of self-worth, that leads us to creative endeavors.
Yeah, I was just more contemplating our ineptitude. But what you said is good.
You just think we're bad.
We're not good at this.
It's out. I've been in therapy a long time to be able to turn anything bad into a plus.
Right, that sounds good. Yeah, I just go with things are bad and I'm bad and everything's bad.
Yeah.
That seems to work for me.
Well, that's what... Well, see, what I find works really well for me is your crushing self-loathing leads you to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And my overly therapized psyche leads me to take credit for it. So this is great. Keep it up.
Yeah, cool. So I guess at this point, it's, thank you for listening to the Dom Show. Dom and friends.
As long as you keep turning up and doing the work, we can keep making this show.
Yeah, I'll try and not turn every story into a mountain of mist. I felt like that. For anyone who's played Dungeons and Dragons, you've always got that one person playing. It's like, and then my character kills everyone because he's really strong and cool. I did that, and
you did that with Magic.
And I want to take a moment to apologize for doing that. But I feel like we turned it around with Magic Crabs.
Yeah, I did. Look, great plot twist. Did not see that coming at all.
No, neither did I. Which is,
wow. I gotta say, I like that motif. And there is one in our story where something is repeatedly described and still leads you to the wrong conclusion.
Yeah.
And then you can end up with that plot twist. We never knew that Keith was a crab. It was never mentioned.
Keith was just there.
And then it turns out, and he's a crab, and you're like, should we be amazed by this? No, that's just who Keith is. It's just
Stop looking. He's getting uncomfortable.
Oh, sorry.
No. This is just who Keith is. Like, we don't judge him. And
no, we didn't even need to say it.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have raised that. We should have just had the whole thing happen, and maybe the reader might have said, "Well, who is that in the sack?" Why?
I think we can blame Raymond Feist for his foreshadowing of the sack of crabs. It's his fault.
So you've read on with the other stories. What does happen with the crabs?
And they are never mentioned again. I think he gets in trouble for losing them. He was meant to bring them back. He was meant to bring something back, but that's it. And then they're never mentioned again.
Is that?
But the whole thing is, like, a few chapters after that is the ship washes up on the shore and sets off the whole war and everything.
With the crabs.
Maybe the crabs were part of that. It's never mentioned, but I'm going to reread it and see if I can draw that into it. See if that.
Because the Serrani are crab people, right?
No, they're not, but maybe they are. I'm going to make sure. I'm going to check to see if it's mentioned.
Okay.
They do. Yeah.
On that, I think that's probably a good exit point for this.
Serrani, not crab people. And we apologise for any disparagement we have put upon this glorious empire of Serrani.
See you next time.